right, welcome back to the Built to Grow podcast. I am your host, Tim Lyons. Another special Zoom episode from the Midwest of Oklahoma Panhandle. No, I'm not even in the pan. I'm somewhere in the middle above Texas, joined as always by Randy Inkster. What's up, man?
How we doing?
Good. Yeah, we're just jamming on these topics right now. Something crazy is happening in this industry. We're going to talk about that, and we got to talk about a lot of stuff today. But before we do that, I want to remind everybody we have the Business Accelerator Refined. I guess call it 2.0, if you will.
There we go.
It's kind of a go at your own pace. It's all the same content that we used to charge nearly $15K for. It's like $14.5. And we've got it all the way whittled down for you to kind of go at your own pace, $6,500. Get you 8 weeks with us, 8 weeks of access. Do they get the videos forever, right? Do they keep
Correct.
the videos?
Yeah, they keep
so
access to the
all
content.
Yeah, but direct access to answer questions. I do calls with you. It's a perfect hybrid between unaffordable $14,000 and hey, it's $1,000 that I'm not going to waste my time with it, right? It's the perfect synergy in the middle. And so we've got a list of people that are signing up for this program, and it's exciting because we're solving all kinds of problems, Randy. We've got everybody from large group. We have a big box guy. We've got small boxes. We have class-based stuff, and it's interesting because within all those models, they have the same systems. That they're just done a little bit differently. The pricing's a little different. The delivery's a little bit differently, but the delivery system's still there. The sales system's still there. The marketing is still there. It's just what you're doing in the gym is a little different. So happy to help whatever model you're in, especially if you're looking to switch to semi-private. Gosh, that's exactly what we do the best too.
Yeah, we love that one. You can jump on winninggym.com/call. That'll give you an opportunity to book a call. We'll go over that program. That call will be with me. So you and I'll get to dive into the business as it is today. We'll forecast what the business can look like, and I'll paint a picture of the middle and what that business accelerator looks like. And again, you'll have the opportunity to decide if it's for you. If not, we'll know what, you'll come out of that call with some things in the business that you can work on, some things you can tune up. So consider it a free discovery call that you're going to walk away with some value on your side, left or right. So happy to do it. Looking forward to having that conversation with you guys. This is what we love to do. So pick up the phone and let's have that chat.
Let's do it. All right, guys, this is an interesting topic. There's some chatter in the industry about changing some stuff. And let's just talk about what we've recently heard. And then I just don't understand really why anybody would want to do this. But instead of memberships, instead of recurring revenue, instead of agreements and terms, there are some gyms switching, or some coaches telling gyms to switch to a come as you go, pay as you go model. Come on in today, we'll bill you today. Come in next week, we'll bill you next week. And it's almost like a transactional. Hell, it's like a damn restaurant where you come in for the meal today, you eat and you pay for it right there. What are you hearing about this, Randy? Like, what's going on here? Let's dissect this for a little bit.
Well, I mean, obviously, I think before we get too far into like the issue at hand, I mean, just what you've expressed already puts a weird taste in my mouth, because one of the things you and I preach all the time is the beauty and the benefit of having a fitness business is the ability to have long-term revenue, monthly recurring revenue, through, things like annual contracts and even month to month or open agreements somewhat forecast some of that. But to take it and go that far into a transactional based service, to me, screams one thing. It screams the inability to sell something of value that your clients, meaning a membership, something that we're talking about the client's results, not get hot and sweaty today, where we're talking and we're forecasting their goals, where there's some value, the numbers and the kind of the idea of the client. Now, granted, we're not trying to position it so the client's thinking it could be, hundreds and thousands of dollars. But to the understanding of what we're providing, it's not as simple as walk in today and it's $20 and, you're done with fitness, So the consultation process, I think, they've molded the business they've digressed the business in a way, in my opinion, to handle a sales problem that negatively impacts the business, as opposed to addressing the sales problem to position the business in a better spot. And
Yeah, because
we've
when
seen it,
you're explaining
there's
this,
other ways.
yeah, when you were explaining this to me, the first thing came to mind was like, why would they do that? Oh, it's
Yep.
because they can't sell, so they have to make it a no-brainer for the consumer. Which I don't disagree with making something a no-brainer, but I definitely
Yeah.
disagree with throwing out one of your biggest advantages and recurring revenue. They're gonna die quickly if this is true. I don't see how that survives, and I have a feeling that it's quickly going to change if somebody's
Yeah.
doing this right now, where we're not going to hold you, to any agreements. You just come on in and we'll bill you when you get here, type of thing. Um, Boy, I just don't get it. I don't know why. I mean, the only thing that I can think of is that the people in the business can't sell the
Yeah.
services as a huge value. And so it's like they have to digress down to like, hey, you know what? We're just going to not even keep a card on file. We'll just kind of bill you as you go. I mean, sure, as a consumer, that's exactly what I would want. I don't want to get locked in anything. I don't want a card on file. I'll come in, but I just don't, I don't see, I see a horrible, painful death here. And it's going to be quick too. You're going
I
to,
think I look at it like a race to the bottom instead of, like the old adage, rising tide raises all ships, or, James Clear says you don't excel to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. That's a good one, right? Because what we're doing is, instead of looking at in the way we look at business, we lay the business out, right? The business has needs, the functions that have to happen in order to deliver the service that you've decided is your deliverable. From there, right, there's systems and there's staffing needs, there's roles and responsibilities, aspects of that delivery that need to happen. You fill that with systems and a staffing structure, and the staff should fit the needs of the business. And what we're seeing here and what we've seen in the past is business owners molding their businesses to the level of their problems, as opposed to educating the staff, or developing the staff, or implementing a system to raise the level of their delivery to the standards of their business. And that's 100% why I see this like a race to the bottom. And we see it in other ways, right? Guys, we understand how stressful this business is. It's challenging as hell, and you are inundated with opportunities and offers, and people are throwing a lot of things at you that you can do. But at the end of the day, if you're jumping from one to the next and you're always grasping at straws, and it's a desperation attempt constantly, that should tell you that, you give it a little more thought on what those things are that you're doing. What is the impact those things are doing beyond putting more money in your bank account this month, right? We've talked about the challenge-based mentality. We go back to episode 450, episode 50, the rise and fall of the 6-week challenge. The cons of that challenge talk about the impact it has on the business moving forward. That's some of the things that I see, like just for example, that membership opportunity that really crushes a business's ability to move forward and grow. You're literally working backwards because you're not sourcing the right people to, the team. And you got to develop the team. You got to find the right people to support the needs of the business. That's where winning gyms are built.
Well, let's talk about the team aspect for a second, because that seems to be the number one issue behind I need more leads. Like, hey, what's holding you back? Well, I can't find anybody, or my team just isn't at the caliber that I need them to be, or whatever. And so within the Iron Circle, we've really focused hard over this last quarter on team development and leadership and personality traits of your team, what their drivers are. And we're getting to the bottom of it, because a lot of it is mismatched alignment of what they're doing to what they're good at, or what drives them. Because if they're not in a power, like a lot of coaches, we really lean on the DISC assessment. If you guys want to take a look at the DISC assessment, that's, DISC. We work with Mandy, who's our coach, that kind of works us through that stuff. But if you really look at that, one of the drivers, like their values, it's called the values. What do they value? And if you look at a lot of coaches, a lot of them are altruistic and theoretical. What does that mean? It means they want to help people, and they enjoy and they value learning and education. And
in contrast, there you go. I'll let you take it. Yeah,
economic and power slash leadership. So when you put a coach who's altruistic and theoretical in a position to sell training, you're going to get a mismatch. And so they all of a sudden, they just can't sell. You could train them, but they're still never good. They're never going to value the fact that they're in a leadership position and the money side of it. So what they do value is the opposite of what you're trying to do. So you got to know what drives and what your values of your coaches are, so you can put them in the right roles and at the right seats on the bus. And so instead of changing, and you made a really good analogy earlier that this should hit home, but instead of changing your business practices to suit your level of your employees, of your team, you've got to bring those guys up and girls up. So the analogy you said was like, hey, Tim, it's like if you took Legacy Personal Training, which is a 6-to-1 semi-private training model, and you brought a coach in that couldn't do 6-to-1, you said, okay, well, we're going to change everything to 4-to-1 to kind of appease this coach so he can do a better job. That's like throwing out reoccurring revenue and going to a service pay now, visit now, pay now model instead of bringing the coach up. And so when it comes to the marketing, the marketing agencies pushing challenges and like this thing that they want to offer to get you leads, and you, instead of saying no, you change your business model to appease the marketing agency so you can work with them, or they're telling you. They should never be telling you what to do. You're in charge. You're the captain of the business. And I think maybe some gym owners maybe need to work on leadership to be the leader and be like, no, that's not how we do it here. And maybe you don't get to work with that agency, whatever, but you need to be steadfast in your vision as the owner to say, like, this is where we're going. We're not going that way with your challenges and stuff. We're going this way. So run marketing to give me people that fit into this. And they can do that, by the way, if you just push on them. So that's kind of what the point of this message is.
100%. And if you think about think about the few examples that we laid out, and this is where it really kind of gravitates towards. Every one of those decisions that we kind of spoke against in our belief, if you think about it left to right, guys, that was an easier decision to make. It's easier to not have my coach have to do 6-to-1 and me not have to develop him or her, not have to train that. And let's digress the business to the lowest standard of the team, because that's the willingness that we're putting in here. That's an easy choice to make. It's not a winning choice, but it's an easy choice to make. Hard means I have to go invest some time and energy and effort, or hopefully you have a system around it, right? The education to develop the needs of the individual to match the needs of the business. Same thing with the sales component. If your team can't sell your memberships, then you've got the option of putting the right person whom maybe it could be, like to Tim's point, maybe they're conflicted values. And no matter what you educate this person on, no matter how much you're leading them down that path with good resources, it just doesn't align with their values and their priorities. And you can't fit a square peg in a round hole. It just doesn't work. So make sure you have the right person in the right seats of the bus, but then develop them. Sales coaching, part of our business accelerator, has 2 weeks of exactly how we do our consultations for legacy. Zach, Tim's fitness director, teaches it directly on how he does them every day. So, and it's there for that reason. It's everything we teach about systems. It's about raising the elevation of the delivery in your business, the level of leadership, the quality of your scripting, the marketing. Everything has to go up. It doesn't have to go down. And that's the hard part, right? You have to apply some effort, apply some energy, take action, but don't just check down and take the easy route because you've faced resistance or a problem's exposed itself in the business. Go after those problems. That is what business is, and that's where you win as a business owner. That's what's going to set you apart because everybody else is going that easy route. And here you are.
Give you another great example. We've had this happen with our past coaching clients, and then actually it's happening right now with a couple current coaching clients. They have coaches or employees that tell them when they can work. I'm only available these days and these afternoons and those mornings. And the gym owner has to change their business to appease the schedule of the coaches or the front desk person, whoever it is. And because gym owners or gym fitness businesses are so desperate for employees, that they change what they do, and it puts more stress on the owner of the operation. I say, F that. You have a role, and it's from 5 a.m. to 12 o'clock p.m. You could either work it or you can't. If you're going to be hired, this is your shift. If you can't do that, we can't have you here. That's just the end of the story. You're not hired for this position. And it comes down to the owner or the manager. If the owner's out of the operation, the manager needs to be steadfast. You can't change your business for the employee. You can make it better for them, but the 5 a.m. to 12 o'clock shifts has to be picked up. I can't have 3 people doing that shift because you can only do 5 to 9, and this person going 9 to 10, and this one's 11 to 12. No, you can't work here. That's just the end of the story. The way we do
you
things.
You can't work here. That's it.
You just can't work here. Another great example. I had a coach, Coach Kyle, we'll call him. He called me in the afternoon, and he's like, "Dude, I'm in Phoenix, and I have a flat tire. I know I'm supposed to be in at 1 o'clock. It was like 11 in the morning, and he kept giving me the excuses about this flat tire. Okay." And I just, at the end of the day, I said, you're either here for your shift or you're not. I don't care about the flat tire. I don't care about, you're going to show me that you're going to either show up or you're not. You're either here or you're not here. And he wasn't there, and he got fired that day. And that's the way gym owners, you have to be. You can't bend the rules. This guy's late. He couldn't make it in for a shift. Flat tire or not, there's ways to get here. If you want to be here, you can be here. He didn't want to be here. He's no longer working here. That's just the end of the story. So sorry, that's business.
Yeah. Yeah. And unfortunately I had a call with one of our coaching clients, our Iron Circle client. We were talking about some of the problems in their business that she's addressing and stepping in and handling and things. And it came down to the fact that, the personnel issues, dealing with people, being able to enforce the standards of the business when it comes time to, is a difficult aspect for many gym owners. And unfortunately, those are leadership skills that have to be developed, much like anything else. You're choosing your hard at that point, right? Do you want the hard of not getting the performance out of an individual who doesn't, you're filling all of their gaps so that you can employ them? Or do you want the hard of having to let them go and replacing them with, somebody new and training somebody else up? Both of them are hard situations to be in. You didn't make the choice left or right. The employee forced that upon you, but the hard is your choice to make. And what is the right choice for the business? I could not imagine waking up and going into the 4 walls of the business every day as the owner and feeling handcuffed. And unfortunately, that's the way that too many business owners and gym owners, especially right now, continue to position themselves. But to your point, it's their option. It's your option, guys listening, guys and gals. If you feel like that, start to figure out why. Start to figure out what decisions in your business you've allowed to be dictated by your employees, inconvenience, whatever it may be, because more often than not, those are the things that are keeping you unhappy, stuck where you're at, in fulfilling the needs of the operations when you should have an employee doing those things. Not saying you can't have the willingness to step in and do it, right? Like if that trainer didn't show up that day, somebody had to do those sessions. Somebody had to train that. And sometimes at one point it was Tim. But, you build yourself out of that if that's what you desire. But you can't continue going into it deeper and expecting at some point you're not going to have to be, that answer anymore.
Yeah,
So
exactly. So the big takeaway here, folks, is your business needs to run, and there's roles and responsibilities that have to happen. Create the job description and the job responsibilities for a role and fill the person into that role. Don't change the job description to fit the employee. That's really at the end of the day what we're trying to say through several different scenarios. It really came up with that chatter that we were talking about with like, wow, you're going to throw away all the benefits of the recurring revenue and the terms and holding people accountable just to make it easier to sell. And that's how we got to this topic. But guys, you are the boss. You signed on the dotted line. Your financial livelihood's at stake. What are you going to do? Are you going to step up, or are you going to let things happen to you and around you and have your success be dictated by other things and other people who decide for you that have no risk in the business? I think that's asinine. So step up to the plate. This is your smack in the ass. Let's go. Strap up the chin strap and let's get to work, guys. That's it for this episode. Until next time, keep changing lives. We'll see you on the next show. Bye.
All right, and thank you for listening to that episode of the Built to Grow podcast, where we help gym owners win. Now, do you want to connect with me and other gym owners online? All you need to do is join our private Facebook group, Business Talk with Fitness Professionals. Just head on over to Facebook and type in Business Talk with Fitness Professionals, and when you do, we're going to give you our 10 marketing strategies 7-figure gym owners use to win. I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Until then, keep building something great.